Hey, I'm Rob for JTRPodcast.com, and at Essen Spiel 2018 I played Dicetopia. And in this game you have the neon city of Dicetopia, and it's a bit corrupt, but you are also corrupt, so that's all good. And what you're trying to do is use your agents, send them out to take control of the different neighbourhoods within Dicetopia in order to control the city. And here it is. It's a tiny little box. I picked that up after I demoed it, which is always a good sign. It was a very fun game, so let's take a look at what you get in the box and how the game plays. And here is Dicetopia. This is the city board with the dice on it. They are in recesses, so they won't move. You notice there's a gap at the end of each row. It's because I've set this up for a 3-player game. You might be able to make out there is a 4 in there. There's also a 3 in there. That's just to remind you that you don't fill out each row in each of these different neighbourhoods when you're setting up for fewer than 4 players. You take a few dice out before you roll them, and obviously these are all randomly assigned. Each player also gets one of these. This is a board with their agents that are just falling out all over the place, but you can see they are little glass meeples, which is kind of cute and good. And everyone, of course, is going to have their own little faction board with their different coloured agents on it. You're also going to get one of these faction cards that all have different abilities. I haven't just got the ability at the top. They also all have a summary sheet for what all the different neighbourhood actions are, which is important. There's quite a few to choose from. I think I've got an expansion in there with some extra ones, but you still get quite a few in the base box. These also don't come in the base game. You just get normal plastic see-through, same colour, same look, but they are just cubes rather than mini meeples. I paid extra for those. And so people are going to take their faction and put them face up, so everybody knows what you've got. You're also going to get 3 of these mission cards each. 1, 2, 3, and these are going to give you some end-game scoring bonuses. You can see them all there. All the players are going to keep 2, keep them secret, keep them safe, keep them face down. So let's just say I took those 2. The rest will go onto the bottom of the deck, out of the way. And on the player's turn, it's very simple. You take your leftmost agent. You can then take any die on the board. So let's just say, for example, I took this purple 6, because purple's the best colour. 6 is a high number. And then you put your agent in the place of where you took the die from. And then you take the action on the neighbourhood of where you placed your agent. So we'll just go through them all in order. This is the agency, and this one lets you draw a mission card. So you draw another mission card into your hand. You choose one of those available to you from your hand. That gives me 9 points if I have no purple dice, so that's no good to me. So I'm going to discard that one straight away. This one here is the Goo Goo Air Force. So if you go here, you get to re-roll a die in any neighbourhood or on any faction board. So it means you could re-roll any of the dice on here, you could re-roll any of the dice on here, and you could re-roll any of the dice belonging to a faction board of another player. So that way you can just try and screw them over if you think they're trying to collect a certain number, or if they've got a 6, which is worth a lot of points, which I'll get to when we get to endgame scoring. You can try and re-roll that and hopefully make it a 1. So that's a lot of fun. So here we have the waste management. And this lets you swap any agent in a neighbourhood with a die in another neighbourhood. So if I went here, I would have to take this action, because once you've placed your agent, you have to take the action of the neighbourhood that you put your agent into. So I'd have to take this action, so maybe I'll swap this for, let's just say, that one, for example. This one is the Twilight Congress. It lets you swap 2 dice in any 2 neighbourhoods. Let's just say I'll swap those 2, for example. You can do any 2 neighbourhoods on the board. The Observatory Bank lets you swap any die in a neighbourhood for any die on a faction board. That includes your faction board or any other player's faction board. So maybe I'll swap this 6 for this 1, because maybe I don't want that 6 anymore. Maybe I need 1s now. Who knows? And then finally, the Nethel or Nethel Syndicate at the bottom here lets you swap 2 dice on any faction board. So let's just say the red player had this die. You could then swap these 2 over like that. Very, very simple. And that's it really. Just going to go around the table until everybody's placed their 6 agents, and then you do the endgame scoring. So let's just say this is how the board finished up. One thing I didn't mention was you do have these special powers. These are, most of them are once per game. Some of them are for endgame scoring. Some of them are you can do throughout the game. Some of them you do during setup. So what you do is, if it's an once per game one like this one, you have one of these tokens. You just put that token on it to show everyone that you've played it. So here we go. This is the end of the game, and this is how you score. So the first thing you do is you score the value of the pips on your dice. So I've got 20 here. You have a 7th meeple you can use on the scoreboard here to track your score. It's one of those that goes up and down, which is a bit weird. And then you score domination on each of the 6 boards. So here you can see blue has the most meeples, so they will get 5 points. Each of the neighbourhoods is worth 5 points. So blue's got this one to get 5 points, but you also get the value of any die in that neighbourhood. So they've got 5 points plus 2, so blue will get 7 points for this neighbourhood. In the case of a tie like this one, this is a 3-way tie. They get the value, that's 7, divided by the number of players. So you divide them as equally as possible, but you round up. So in this case, all these players will get 2 points each. Here they'll get 3 points each. Here the yellow player, me, I'd get 5 plus 9 points. Here I'd get 5 plus 3 for 8 points. And here red would get 5 plus 2 for 7 points. And then players will look at their mission cards. Now I don't know what these are because I didn't look at them when I took them, and I set these up randomly. So you'll get 8 points for 3 dice of the same value. Nope, I've got 2 1s and 2 6s, so I don't get anything for that. And here is 4 points for each of your dice value 5. No. Okay, so it's a good job. That wasn't my real game. That is the end of the game. Whoever's got the most points wins. I'm just going to look to see what happens in the case of a tie. So it's the player with the highest dice value in their faction boys that win. This is a really fun game because it's very simple. You're just swapping a little meeple for a die, and then you're taking the ability of the faction of the neighbourhood you've put your agent into, which has a bit of theme there, I guess, because you're putting your agent there, so you're activating that ability. And then what you can do is you can start looking, saying, okay, they seem to be getting a lot of 6s, they've got a lot of blue dice. Does that mean they're scoring it? Is it coincidence? Maybe they want 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I don't know, I haven't read through the mission cards, but they're the ones I've seen, kind of getting numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, getting 5s, getting 6s, having no 6s, which is what I had in my first game, is to not have any 6s on your board, which means what happened here was interesting because I couldn't have 6s and every pip is worth points at the end of the game. I was collecting 5s because they were the most valuable die to me at the time, and people thought I was collecting 5s, so they tried to deny me 5s, and they were giving me 4s, which is not that bad for me. It's only 1 point per dice. They think they're costing me 6, 7 points per dice, but they're not, so that was good fun. It looks very nice. Even with the cubes, it looks nice on the table. The meeples are a nice touch, worth the extra couple of euros. I can't remember how much I paid for them. The cards are nice. The factions are plentiful. There's plenty of those to pick from. There are, the mission cards, there's a lot of those as well. So there's lots of variety there from game to game. But also that you have these are scenario cards. If you want, you can flip one of these over at the beginning of the game. And this changes the rules of the game as you're playing. So I think one of them here, let's have a look. Leftovers, remove 1 die of each colour before the setup and only put 2 dice on the observatory bank, 1 with 3 players and 0 with 2 players. So there you're going to change the way the dice are distributed during setup. So this is going to change the game when you're playing it, so that's good fun. Also there is this is Steve. You get to play against Steve, the Steve Experience. It's a little solo game I haven't played yet, but I look forward to giving that a go. It kind of works in a weird way because it's automated, but we've got like 3 options. I haven't really looked in how to play that properly, but that is something you can get if you like your solo games. But overall, I think this game's really fun. I've played it twice, I've won it twice. Which is part of the reason I like it now, not really. It is a lot of fun trying to work out what people are trying to get, whilst also trying to control the neighbourhoods, while trying to complete your missions, or maybe trying to cycle through your missions if you have something you don't think you're going to score, or somebody's re-rolled one of your dice and now you're not going to get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. You think, okay, I'll just give up on that one. I'll just draw a new mission card and hopefully I can get that one instead. But it's a lot of fun. I highly recommend it. That is Dicetopia. Remember to like, share and subscribe. You can follow me on Twitter at JTRPodcast and find the blog and all the links to my other social profiles at JTRPodcast.com. I've been Rob, aka Jesta ThaRogue, and I'll see you soon.